I wash my soul in the ocean, in the tears of God, I let it go.
Welcome to your 2021 video horoscopes with me, Lada from Astrolada. Thank you so much for choosing me to be astrologer for you for the year 2021. And what can I say? Just a quick summary. I'm delighted to say that 2021 will be way easier than 2020. You remember 2020, if you saw the videos that I created for 2020, I warned everyone this will be one of the toughest year ahead. For 2021, the action is moving from the cardinal signs like Aries, Capricorn, Cancer, and Libra, who had it the hardest, whether it was their ascendant, sun, or moon in 2020. It's moving to the fixed signs, which is Taurus, Leo, Aquarius, and Scorpio. And when I say action, it means they'll have life-changing events. They'll have something that takes them to the next level. But passing from one level to the other is always a bit more difficult. Especially fixed signs, they don't like changes so much. But again, it will be, I promise 2021 will be way easier generally for the world and each one of us. Just a few people will be a little bit more tested. And 2021 is when a new age for humanity starts, generally speaking. This is when Saturn and Jupiter start their new cycle for the first time in almost 800 years in an air sign. I mean, they kickstart this 200-year period. They met in the 80s in an air sign, but the last time they met in Aquarius was 1226, something like that, 800 years ago. So we'll start a brand new life, brand new era for humanity. You can check out my video, which is for free on YouTube, about the year 2021. For the whole world, there is new hope. Aquarius energy is coming in. There is a new hope for humanity, new future. Life will start splitting into society will start splitting into, not in a bad way, but in a way that instead of fighting and not seeing eye to eye, it will separate somehow. There will be people that want to live alternatively and people that want to follow the normal rules. But anyway, let's get back to you because those horoscopes are specific for you. So let me tell you what you need for those horoscopes in order to work for you. You need to find out your sun, moon, and ascendant signs. I want you to check all three of them. If you can't afford to buy all three, just listen to your ascendant sign at least. But you need to know your time of birth to listen to the ascendant sign. And you need to know the degree as well. And if you have time to watch all three videos, the ascendant, sun, and moon, then listen to the specific degrees when I speak about the moon and the sun especially. For the ascendant, pay attention to everything, the houses, whatever. For the sun and moon, especially pay attention if I mention your specific day of birth, if it's the sun, or the degree of the moon as well. The houses can also be relevant. Who will be affected most? Everyone feels affected by the ascendant sign, but you need to be very correct with your time of birth. Like if your mom told you between 2 and 3 o'clock, no, it's like you need 2:34. For example, PM. And within 2-3 minutes at least to have your correct time, or 5 at most. So listen to your ascendant sign and the degree, start with it. Then listen to your sun sign. And of course, with the sun sign, you just know which day you're born, but you can check the degree as well. Listen to your moon sign. If you're born during the day, which means before the sunset, while the sun was above the horizon, the sun sign is very important for you because the sun becomes your ruling light. If you're born at night, like I am, when the sun has set, you have to find out what day the sun set on the day you were born and rose, so when you know your time of birth, whether it was day or night. So if you're born at night, the moon, it will be very important for you because the moon becomes your queen, the light. So but I would advise, listen to three of those: ascendant, sun, and moon. If you're a woman, the moon sign is usually very important. If you're a man, the sun sign is usually very important. If you're a woman in a competitive career or who has her own business or who is very much into her career, the sun sign becomes very important because the sun sign is our goals, is our masculine side, taking decisions. Let me tell you what the difference, the subtle differences between listening to your ascendant, sun, and moon is. With the ascendant, it is the physical body and your fated events. They're kind of pre-recorded for you. You really see the ascendant sign in when you, if you have your correct time of birth, you would see it as basically as events that materialize, that are happen around you, and they've been already, usually they're like preset somehow. They're set in stone. The ascendant is the most material aspect of the whole horoscope. It's kind of like our path, our destiny, whatever you want to say, the destiny of the soul. It's a little bit, we still have free will to some extent, but the ascendant is one of the most set ones. So you'd see very material manifestations with the ascendant sign. With the moon sign, the moon is the soul and the feelings. So a lot of women, because women are more connected with their feelings, tend to actually resonate a lot with their moon sign. And they're like, yes, those things for the ascendant sign are happening, but what really, where my whole heart is and where my whole attention has been and where my whole excitement has been and my focus or pain or sadness, whatever, has been as per the moon sign prediction. So do check it out. While the sun sign is, and the moon sign is, again, the moon is connected to the past, so it's a little bit more karmic. It's something that has been maybe programmed for the soul before our birth, type of thing. While the sun sign is the spirit, where we have the most free will. And with the sun sign, people often resonate when they listen to their sun sign. They say, wow, it's so correct. Especially people, the more self-sufficient and independent you are, the more and how do I say, the more it's the sun is where we have the free will power. And this is where we can influence the sun sign prediction, the events, the most. And this is what usually our goals, our dreams are about. The sun is like this ideal of the spirit where you want to reach, something that feeds your spirit, so to speak. So that's why a lot of people, especially in the West or in more, where people have more free will generally in countries like that, to determine their life, to determine their direction in life, because there are a lot of countries you cannot still do that. Some countries are still set like 1,000 years back, in mentality. But where there is more free will, usually in the more developed countries, or then the sun is very powerful. People can feel the sun very powerful, especially people that, as I said, men feel the sun very strongly. Women who have their own goals, who have freedom to go after career and things like that, to create their own careers. And especially if you have a stellium of planets in the same sign as your sun. For example, I'm Aries sun, but I also have their Venus, Mercury, Mars. So then I would feel the prediction from the sun sign very, very strongly. Maybe not as strongly as the ascendant, but it will be up there. And with the sun sign prediction, we have the most ability, when you listen to it, to take the higher road, to use our free will to change things to the best manifestation possible. With the ascendant, with the moon, well, with the moon, if you can control your feelings, but it's harder to control your feelings. With the sun sign, if you can control your thoughts, it's easier to control your thoughts than your feelings. With the ascendant sign, it's kind of more like set. So I told you this. How do you find out what your sun, moon, and ascendant signs are? You can, let me share my screen with you. You can go to my website, astrolada.com, where you can find any other, astrolada.com. Here it is. You can find any other astrology website, but I have this free birth chart calculator. You can go there. You can enter your details, your name, whatever it is, your birth time. Let's say you're born, okay, maybe you're not 8 years old, but the minute, you don't need the second. Very few people know the second. Your town, I would say New York, continued, so it's easier. And here from the drop-down menu, you find out which New York it is. Let's say there might be New York in Texas, Henderson, okay? Let's say I was born there. And this is what you get. It might look like alien, alien stuff to you. But all you need to do is go here, planetary details. And I want you to take those first three, ascendant, sun, and moon. You see those three. and write the degree and the sign. So this person that I invented has the ascendant in Taurus at 24 degrees. Don't look at the second number, the second row. These are the seconds. So just round it up, 24 degrees Taurus. The sun is at 16 Aries. Usually everyone knows their sun sign. This is the sun sign is the same, every year at the same time. And the moon sign of this person is Libra at 8 degrees. Write those down. And if you hear when you're watching Libra, for example, we mentioned Libras born with sun, moon, or ascendant from 3 till 9 degrees, they would feel this influence very strongly. Well, 8 degrees is within that influence. So pay attention what I'm talking about. You're going to feel, especially when I give specific degrees or days. If you're using for the moon, it will be a degree. And you hear your degree or that it's within the range, pay attention to that. You're going to feel this big time. The same with the sun sign, but with the sun sign, I also give the day you are born. For example, people that have degree at 16 Aries, they're born around the 4th or 5th of April. Every year is the same. The ascendant, I'll give the degrees again. So if I say if you're born Taurus, for Tauruses who have anything in degrees from say 12 to 26, and this person has a 24 degrees in Taurus, you will feel this influence, and so on and so on. If you don't hear your degree, just listen. Start with the ascendant sign. The whole prediction for the ascendant sign will, the houses. Then go through the sun sign if you're born during the day, the moon sign second, or second if you're born at night, especially if you're a woman, and end with one of the three and listen to the three of them and see which one you resonate the most with. See which one makes the most sense for you. Watch it again in the middle of the year, towards the end of the year, and you will figure out which planet actually is very strong. But always the ascendant is so important, guys, if you know your time of birth. And because anyway, I cannot fully give you specific reading. I just look at the whole sign, the whole Taurus I'm going to be speaking, or the whole Gemini. But there is a way for you to be following daily your personal transits like no one else in the world has them. It's again on the website, Personal Transit Calendar. You go there, you register. I already have an account. 50,000 people are using it, I think, already. For free. It's weekly, it's for free. But nowhere else in the world are you gonna, and I show you how to use it here. There is an instructional video how to use the transits. But here you put your details. You can put as many people as you want. You're gonna get free for them, or you can buy. You can buy for a year transits or for a month transits. A lot of the people that are subscribe for a month at a time, and you can just watch your specific transits here. They come out. No one else in the world will have the same transits as you on the same time, unless you have a twin born at the same place at the same time at the same minute as you. Otherwise, those transits will always be different. And you can go through each day of the year and see which transits you have. And you click and you read, and that will, you don't need my videos. But in those videos, what I strive to do, because a person has so many transits throughout the year. Look at that. This is just for 1 month. So many transits. How do you make sense of them? In those yearly videos, this is what I help you do, especially if you watch them for your ascendant. To a lesser degree, sun and moon, but they're still relevant. And I give you the bigger, fuller picture, instead of like separate, you have like, for example, look how many transits I'm currently having this day today. And, so, which one, but I give you like a summary of it, like wrap it up. All right. There you go. I think we're ready. If you have written your sun, moon, or ascendant, let's dive in. But before that, just a little quick prayer for God and to bless the year 2021 and to protect anyone. So, dear Father, Mother, Creators, dear Jesus, dear Mary, Buddha, Allah, whoever Whoever has their higher power from whatever place they're praying in the world, turn towards your higher power, to the angels, to the exalted beings that are taking care of humanity, that are selflessly helping us every day, our guardian angels, our departed beloved ones. Thank you so much for protecting us, for keeping us sane during the year 2020, for raising our consciousness collectively during that year. And I ask you for this new age that starts from the year 2021, from this brave new world. Let it be tilted towards the positive. Let the balance go towards the positive. Let more and more souls wake up to the divine love, to brotherhood, to peace. We're entering the age of Aquarius full speed from the beginning of 2021. May God, your desire and your plan for the world be fulfilled through each one of us. May brotherhood, love, equality, fraternity come, compassion between each other rather than separation. And let everyone who is watching this video find out the most important information for them, reach their heart, reach their soul. Let them connect with the information that is most relevant for them, and let them be prepared and help them through the path, and help me be a good channel and a good channeler of your wisdom, of your knowledge, so I can connect the people with the right inspiration. Amen. All right, let's start. Taurus, Sun, Moon, Rising 2021. As I said in the intro, the action is moving from the cardinal signs to the fixed signs, and you Taurus are one of the fixed signs. It means that you will be most affected in 2021 for big changes in your life. Of course, it won't be every Taurus, but I will give specific degrees that you will feel it most intensely, life transforming. And they say Taurus is a sign who doesn't like change, who like to keep the status quo. Well, now it cannot stay the same. For many Tauruses, things will have to change. But I have very good news for you. Because the two planets that decide your social position, that decide your role in the world, that decide your influence in the world, these are Saturn and Jupiter, the social planets, the social status planets. They're meeting in your 10th house at the end of 2019, but that's for the first time since 2026. So the first time in 800 years, Jupiter and Saturn, they form the great conjunctions, it's called. Every 20 years, Jupiter and Saturn meet in different signs to define the social trends for the next 20 years. And right now, Jupiter and Saturn, for the first time in 800 years, so if you were alive 800 years, maybe, and you are Taurus again, so no one has experienced that as a Taurus. So it's a brand new chapter in the life of many Tauruses, especially Taurus rising people. But they meet in here, in the 10th house, which is the highest. You see, this is how we do it. Taurus is here, and Uranus is there currently. And the highest house, the highest position from Taurus is Aquarius, and which rules career, social status, influence, importance. And when those two planets meet in a great conjunction every 20 years, wherever they meet in your horoscope, it determines almost like what role you're going to play in society for the next 20 years. And I have great news for you, Taurus. You are chosen by faith and the universe to play some really socially important role for humanity in your career for the next 10 to 20 years. 10 is the half cycle of Saturn, Jupiter, 20. Because those, and don't forget that the age of Aquarius starts now, and it will last for 2,000 years. So for some reason, Taurus, because their horoscope is so creative, especially Taurus rising people, to lesser degree Sun or Moon, but as well, are chosen to play the most leading figures, because the 10th house is the boss, the top positions, the ones that are going to control the show, the ones that were going to structure the how this society that we're going to create, this new stage in human life that is starting, this new world order. I'm not talking the ones that politicians are talking about, because they want very Orwellian ones, the very controlled one. It's not going to be like that, because Aquarius is about freedom. But Taurus is you, whether you're young or old, you're going to play some very important public role there, guys. And I'm not saying, oh, 2021, all of you will become bosses, influencers, high in social positions. It's not. It takes 20 years, especially the first 10 are very intense, to unfold this potential. But something will happen in this 2021, already maybe from the end of 2020, where you will start something, some project, something connected with career, something connected to some worldly responsibility that is visible for the public, that can contribute to the public, that's connected to business or career. The 10th house is your highest achievement, something that usually rules our mission, our career. A lot of you might now in 2021 start crystallizing and understanding what their mission in life is. Start for it to become clear. If you've been a Taurus that is like going back and forth, what should I do? I'm not sure, I'm not passionate. What is my highest calling? The highest 10th house. This is the house that God goes towards, God. Well, Saturn and Jupiter will allow you now to put the seeds, to plant the seeds of what connected to your mission. Maybe you'll unfold it immediately from 2021, or maybe you'll plant the seeds now that will take 20 years to fully unfold, or 10 years. But you will see that something that you start now, especially in your career, in your mission, in your worldly responsibilities, in your duties, that will determine for many years ahead your role in life. And I think that your role will be very socially important for this age. I think that your role will find yourself within the next 20 years in positions of public authority, positions of respect, positions of public influence, positions of some kind of supervising or structuring changes, boss positions, company positions of some sort. But you'll find that you will be with the most meaningful careers in this new age of Aquarius. Gradually you'll find them. And I would say that a lot of your careers will be geared towards the greater good of the world and society. So speaking though, let me see on a more personal scale, Saturn and Jupiter, especially in 2021, the ancient Vedic astrology says that when Saturn and Jupiter together in a sign, they fulfill that sign. They make it happen. Well, for you, for the past in 2020, Saturn and Jupiter were together as well in your 9th house. So maybe some spiritual crisis sometimes happens, but to make it, they fulfill this 9th house. So some of you took some education, some of you did something connected to foreign countries, to higher knowledge, to learning, to expanding your wisdom about the world. This is the 9th house. But now when Saturn and Jupiter enter in the 10th house, you're gonna make and you're gonna fulfill the promise of your 10th house, which is career, which is achievements, which is putting the structures and foundations, or the structures and the efforts, because Saturn requires efforts to reach heights, to reach public heights of service, public heights of whatever it is, because the 10th house is career, life, mission. And it's one of the most important houses after the ascendant sign, which is your health. Of course, first, health is most important in your body and your path in life. And then your mission in life. Nothing makes you as happy as centered as having found your mission in life, as working in the right career that feels meaningful for you, that you're naturally aligned to. And then everything, once this comes, because it brings you such peace and such higher vibration, it creates all other kind of alignments in your life, like finding the right partner and everything. So now the universe in 2021 will give you this rare opportunity to manifest, to find out, to start on the first steps in regards to your career, to start some important project,
And even if it feels insignificant at the beginning, and you're like, I've never been interested in that, or you're offered a new job, or something happens with your job, you have to quit it, and you have to find out a new one. Anything connected to your career, pay really great attention about it, Taurus rising people. Not so much Taurus moon people, not so much Taurus sun as well. Taurus moon and Taurus sun, as Taurus ascendant, Taurus sun in particular. But it's anything that's happening with your career, it might be a bit testing though, because to be allowed to reach your mission and to be allowed to find your mission, you first are tested by the universe, whether you're going to be consistent, persistent, whether you will give, whether you are willing to do the hard work. So some obstacles can be put, and that's the nature of Saturn. Saturn, let me show you how they're both gonna play, because I just had Saturn and Jupiter transiting my 10th house I'm still having it from, because I'm recording this in 2020, I'm from my sun sign, and I have first-hand experience this year. So definitely there'll be a lot of focus on career, on worldly achievements. But how can it play? Saturn is the stronger planet there. So Saturn's power will be more intense. Well, because it's in its own sign. But Saturn in its own sign tends to give very long-lasting and positive results long-term. But it's demanding and testing. So let me prepare you. What does it mean? Jupiter brings opportunities when it's in the 10th house for career, or inner knowing, intuition. It's like opportunity, material opportunities that appear as well, inspiration in regards to your career and worldly responsibilities and mission in life. And Saturn crystallizes them. Saturn is the hard work. So you're going to have the opportunities and inspiration, plus the perseverance, hard work, and commitment, which what Saturn is, especially in Aquarius. It's so good for commitment to that mission in life, to that career, to go it through. If you're someone who is not used to hard work or to commitment, that can feel challenging. It can feel like you're being given too many responsibilities, too many duties for the next 2 years, because Saturn will stay there for 2 years, 2021, 2022. You might feel there's too much pressure from authority figures. You might find yourself in a situation where some very demanding boss, sometimes even, I don't think it will be a mean boss, Saturn in Aquarius, that's not too mean, but someone that, like the universe sends you some authority figure, that will put pressure on you, because they want to bring out the best of you in regards to what you can achieve in the world. But you can feel frustrated at times, you can feel resentful at times. Be prepared, it's a possibility. If you're not in the right career, Saturn is depicted also like the death with the scythe. It comes and chops off the dead wood. So you will feel very disgruntled or dissatisfied over the next 1-2 years. If you're not in the right career, it's because Saturn really makes you think deeply about your priorities. It becomes just unbearable being in. It makes it so hard if you're not in the right career, and when you're not in the right career, you're not fully committed, and it becomes because responsibilities increase when Saturn transits the 10th house of career. You just not bear it anymore. Responsibilities, obstacles, or blockages increase, so you'll be like, I'm done with it, and you quit it, and don't worry, because within to 2021 in particular, you would probably like the right path for you career-wise, But if you're in the right career, Saturn will just increase the workload. Saturn will just increase the responsibilities as an authority figure. Maybe say you have a business, you might be time to restructure your business, structurally to make it more efficient, structurally to have a different vision for it and start working on it. Jupiter will give you the inspiration for how to restructure your business, the ideas, the knowledge, because Jupiter is knowledge. Saturn will be the actual practical steps of restructuring that. It is hard work, That's what has been happening for me for the last 2 years when Saturn was in my 10th house. I realized that I'm working too much. My workload increased so much, and I was like, but I'm in the right field, it's my mission, but I was like, no, I can't do that. I have to do something about it. So I stopped doing personal horoscopes. So you change things with your career to make it more efficient, but more streamline it, to keep just what is most essential there, so to speak. That's what Saturn will do, especially if you're in the right career, for example. So Saturn will streamline it, make it more professional, more organized. So I stopped doing personal horoscope. I said, it's too messy, my website, I have to do a new one. And I've been working on it for 2 years. I said I'm gonna prepare a new software for everyone, and I've been working for them for 2 years while Saturn's been in my 10th house. And I've been, it's when Saturn and Jupiter enter into my 11th house, it will come out, because the 11th house is the results of your efforts. So you're going to be doing the hard efforts in your career in 2021 and 2022. You're going to start seeing the results when already from 2022 when Jupiter enters your 11th house, and then 2023 when Saturn as well gains the rewards. But now I'll advise you to buckle up, to prepare, to work harder, to be more responsible, to respect authority figures. If an authority figure that's demanding and tough comes to you, it's so you can learn rules, so you can learn self-regulation. In my case, I was kind of really resisting government institutions. I never liked to follow government institutions, and I had to learn to do things by their book as well. So many rules and regulations come when Saturn transits the 10th house, for your business, for your work, a lot more. You might feel like, I'm stifling here, but you have to learn, because we can't just be rebels in everything, and do everything as we want. So you have to align your work, your career, your worldly responsibilities towards certain new rules and regulations, restructure them. And once you do, it becomes, after that, the initial effort is hard, but then it becomes easier. But don't forget that Jupiter is also in your 10th house. So definitely what you can see now is the birth of a new career for you, the expansion and growth of your business, if it's your, or your career possibility, but slowly and gradually, don't rush it. I was like, when Saturn and Jupiter, I said, this year I'm having Saturn and Jupiter in my 10th house. I'm going to fulfill all my career goals. Well, no. Saturn is always more powerful because it's in Capricorn now. Jupiter has no power there, but now in Aquarius, Jupiter will have a bit more power, but Saturn is still the more powerful one. So don't rush with your career goals and plans. Or even if you're rushing, something will happen to delay you, especially when Saturn goes retrograde, which is from May 23rd till the middle of October. It gets slowed down things with your goals and plans in your career. You have to work extra hard, or just there's certain delays and obstacles. But if you have your goal and it's clear and you feel inspired about it, very likely because Jupiter is there, these kind of setbacks and delays and bureaucratic demands or bureaucratic stresses that Saturn can indicate, and especially changes in society, because it's in Aquarius after all, so you have to adapt to those. They will be the part of the process. Who can really feel upset by Saturn is someone who is never used on structure, someone who's never used on, or who just does not like rules or order, regulations, or working hard, someone who does not like authority figures and always resist them. That's what can create tension. But I think as a Taurus, you're kind of good with those things, A lot of Tauruses, they know how to do those things. Taurus is an earth sign. Saturn is an earthy planet. So you know how to do the hard things in life. To kind of, not hard, but the consecutive process of achieving something. And those of you who are Taurus, born Sun, Moon, or Ascendant, with Sun, Moon, or Ascendant from 6 to 14 degrees, they're going to feel the most Saturn influence, because Saturn passes 3 times over those degrees. It goes first forward, then it retrogrades, then again forward. So it means that you're born from the 26th of April till the 6th of May if your Sun is in Taurus. If it's your Ascendant or Moon, it's from 6 till 14 degrees in Taurus. You're having Saturn transit, square your Sun or Moon or Ascendant from the 10th house. So, as I said, it might mean an authority figure that's more demanding, work that needs to be restructured or re-examine, is that the right career for me, the right path? And sometimes it's like a reality check for your career, for your goals, for your leadership abilities. Often you are given especially if you've been in the right field and put a lot of efforts till now, you can get some promotion, but which comes with a lot of responsibility, with extra work, say double hours, for example. But your authority can definitely increase. I've seen people get recognition for efforts they've done over many years, because, of course, the planet that rules your career, Saturn, it rules Aquarius, is in its own house, in the highest point in your horoscope, the most visible. So a lot of people, a lot of Taurus rising people in particular, lesser degree Sun or Moon, can be given positions, but still possible, can be given positions of high authority, of high recognition, which comes with conditions and extra responsibilities and duties, responsibilities for a larger group of people, whatever. And they will probably feel very demanding for 2 years till Saturn moves out of your 10th house. But of course that, Jupiter will allow you to expand there. And if it's not an outer authority figure that pushes you to improve yourself, it might be your own inner authority. I don't have a boss, for example. But as I said, institutions and bureaucracies and institutions like PayPal and corporations, it's also the 10th house, have been very tough on me for the last 2 years while Saturn was transiting my 10th house with rules and regulations and blah. Had to learn that, and I hate it. I have Uranus in my 10th house of rules and regulations. I don't do rules and regulations. So but if you're okay with that, it might be like, wow, I did so much work during those 2 years. I was so organized, especially 2021 was just like this amazing opportunity for my career. I did great things. That's how a lot of you might be feeling. Especially, as I said, first is the earlier Tauruses. So I would say that the most ones that feel it the most are from 26th of April to the 6th of May, but all Tauruses from the 20th of April to the 6th of May feel the Saturn influence the most, 2021. And then 2022, the other Tauruses born from May the 6th till the end, or who have their Sun, Moon, or Rising from 14 degrees to around 30 degrees in Taurus, they will feel the Saturn influence more in 2022. While in 2021, those earlier born Tauruses, those later born Tauruses, they feel more the Jupiter influence. Those who have their Sun, Moon, or Rising from 22 till 30 degrees in Taurus, 22 till 30, I'm repeating, let me just see what days that corresponds. 22 till 30 degrees in Taurus, that's born from around the 12th or 13th till the 21st of May. So from around the 13th to around the 21st of May, so the second part Tauruses, they feel much more the Jupiter influence in their career this year, because Jupiter passes over those degrees 3 times. So they can feel like their business is growing faster, the opportunities are coming more, they can feel more enthusiastic. While the earlier Tauruses I mentioned to you with the Saturn square to their Sun or ascendant, it's a bit slowed down with more testing, with more structural, reorganizational. There might be like a period of rethinking, should they do this career or no, what is wrong. Saturn likes to fix things that don't work well, so you'll be a lot aware of things that are not working well in your career, how to fix it, how to improve it, maybe increase responsibilities. While Jupiter, those other group of people with the Jupiter influence, it's more like opportunities are coming, they're like it's easier, the knowledge, the know-how, and then next year they'll be like restructuring the business. They'll be having the Saturn influence next year that I talked about and I've been talking about for a bit. You can also notice that things delay a little bit when it comes to your career when both Saturn and Jupiter retrograde in your 10th house, which is from May till the middle of October approximately. Saturn first becomes retrograde in May, then Jupiter in June, and they both stay retrograde till the middle of October. So that period will be a period of fixing mistakes, re-examining, redoing something, maybe delays a little bit with career projects and worldly responsibilities, reassessment, the more testing part, but the more hard efforts are required then, and then you start seeing the results when they start moving forward, and things start moving forward from October again in those areas of your life. Problems with authority figures, with career projects, with bosses. And of course, when Saturn is in the 10th house and Jupiter, if you're your own boss, your own inner authority becomes very, you might be recognized more, or achieve some peak in your career, but also you become tougher on yourself if you don't have a boss. And even if you have Saturn transiting the 10th house, you first of all become more ambitious. You'll notice it, Taurus. You'll definitely become more ambitious with bigger goals and plans, and approach it in a practical way. But you also will become very, very demanding towards yourself in regards to career, in regards to what you achieve, in regards to your highest potential. The 10th house is not just work and career and mission, it's your highest potential. What is the highest, best thing that you can give? You'll become very demanding on that, which is great. Some of you might just just this inner authority, go, or fix that problem. You're strong enough to do it. You can hear of that. But first it might start with you kind of your inner authority being like flogging you, like, that's not right, you can do it better. And then, because it will take 2 years, this whole process, your self-talk can come from self-putting down, your inner authority from putting you down and saying, no, it's not right, it's better, because if you work through whatever you have to fix, because your internal voice will be so incessant of your inner authority, of your inner boss inside, that you can't just escape, you can't just hide in a hole. You're gonna have to do those things to achieve your highest potential. And when you follow it towards the end of this period in 2022, or towards the end of 2021, for those Taurus, as I mentioned, 6 to 14 degrees, Taurus, that they would feel like, like those movies where the like, for example, the teacher is very tough on someone, and they first hate the teacher, and then they make their efforts, and then they win the contest or whatever, and the teacher is like so proud of them then, and they have, so your inner authority will be telling you, wow, you did it, you're amazing, so you have those episodes. What else? Let's see. But I want to warn a few, Uranus is squaring Saturn and Jupiter, guys. So that will be fun, especially for those that are born. Uranus will square Saturn 3 times. So you have to be a bit more cautious as Tauruses. Let me just check those dates here. It will square it in January. Oh, my list's up. Oh, here it is. Uranus squares Saturn in February, the middle of February 17th, at 7 degrees. So people, Taurus is born at 26, 27, and 28th of April, have to be a bit more cautious then. Sudden changes, clashes with authority figures, something new comes suddenly into their life, Uranus, that clashes with the old structures in their life. Because you see, Uranus is in your sign, guys. You really want change. Like, it's so unusual for Taurus to want change, but something's been happening for you since Uranus entered Taurus, and it will be there another 4 years, I think, or 5, and 4 years. So something has been happening that all Tauruses, whether they want it or not, they will pass through change. But a lot of Tauruses are very ready, and especially the Tauruses that are born in 2021, that are born with Taurus from 6 degrees till 15 degrees Sun, Moon, or Rising. 6 till 15 degrees Sun, Moon, or Rising. Especially from 10 till 15 degrees, they'll have Uranus transit through those degrees. Actually, Uranus transits from the 6 till the 15 degree in Taurus in 2021, but it only passes once over 6 till 10 degrees. So the most pivotal and important part, the Tauruses that will have the biggest changes in their life, like never before, like life transforming, once in a lifetime changes. Uranus will pass over your sun, moon, or ascendant once in 84 years. It means it will never repeat again. So if you're born from sun, moon, or ascendant from 10 to 15 degrees, okay, I can include the 6 degrees, but the 6 to 15, but the 6 degree people from 6 to 10, they've been having those changes from 2020 already, because Uranus has been there. The new batch of Uranus people, Tauruses, will be 10 to 15 degrees Uranus, where it goes retrograde. They have to be the most cautious, or I would say even most, it will be a bit more challenging for them, because Uranus transits them brand new beginnings. 10 to 15 degrees, it means you're born when it's 10 to 15 degrees Taurus, from the 1st of May till the 6th of May, something like that, maybe a day before, day after. 1st of May till the 16th till the 6th of May, something like that. Or if your ascendant is 10 to 15 degrees, okay, let's add 6 to 15 degrees Taurus. Especially be careful around February, when Saturn squares Uranus at 7 degrees, which means people born 26, 27, 28th of April. Saturn square Uranus again June, the middle of June, June 14th, at 13 degrees Taurus, which means if you have sun, moon, or ascendant from around 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, you can feel it. Or if you're born on a day 2nd, 3rd, 4th, 5th of May, that can be demanding more testing time for you, of big changes. And the last time Saturn squares Uranus is December, almost the whole December. It's at 11 degrees, so people born the 1st, 2nd, 3rd of May. So I would include everyone from around the 26th of April to around the 5th of May, Taurus born, or basically from 7 degrees or 6 degrees in Taurus to around 15 degrees in Taurus, that they are having the most challenging time in the year 2021. But I don't want to scare you, because I always scare myself when oh my God, I was looking at 2020 last year and I saw my horoscope, Pluto square my sun, Saturn square my sun and Venus, Mars conjunct. It's like, I was like, I'm gonna be dying. No, I didn't die. I did the biggest, most important thing in my life. I stopped drinking. I've been trying to for 22 years and I haven't been able. I mean, I was a social drinker, but still. And it's like the thing that you are most scared of when big planets come with difficult aspects, Uranus, Saturn, like in combination, you do your biggest feats. So I don't want to scare you. There will be big changes. Prepare for that. And especially, you would want that change because Uranus is in your sign. If you're born those days, Uranus is in Taurus. So you're ready for a brand new beginning. And it can kind of affect your social status because Uranus squares Saturn from there. You might want to start on a new path. You might want to say, if it's your ascendant sign, you might change your physical appearance a lot or your social personality. You can change your outlook. You can suddenly, become a hippie or something very unusual for you. I remember when Uranus transited my sign, I cut my hair short and dyed it pink, but I was 18 then. When it transited my sun sign 6 years ago, I quit. I woke up one morning, left my husband, went within 2 days to the other end of the world, met my new husband, married him within 6 months, got pregnant within 1 month of marrying him, and all within a Uranus transit. Uranus transit lasts for a year and a half, and then got pregnant again on a Uranus transit. So Uranus transits flip your life around. And if you're like, oh, I feel so comfortable in my skin, like I like how my life is like now. But if you're born that period that I told you, from April 26th to May the 5th, 6th, you will probably resist the change, but it's not gonna. You'd probably want the change the other way around because Uranus is in your sign, and there might be resistance to you from authority figures or others, and you have to do some adjustments in your career to incorporate those new ideas, those new impulses, because Uranus means something totally new, something so out of character for you, something so unusual for you, that it's, and it's because it's hard aspect with Saturn. Saturn is to do something the traditional way, to do it with following the right steps, authority figures, rules and regulations. So and the already established structures in your life. And Uranus is like, I want to destroy those structures. I want something new. And Saturn is like, I'm holding on to what I've achieved till now. So there is this clash of energies that you have to reconcile at certain points if you're born on those specific days and degrees. Not all Tauruses. You see, it's a very small number of Tauruses that will feel that. If it's your moon in Taurus, for example, in those degrees from 6 to 15, you might have a big change in your personal life, like emotional relationship, change with your mother, in a relationship with an important woman in your life, or just relationships, like your emotional attachments can be challenged and they can change or they can shift, or your emotional and physical habits, the moon rules those. They can, for example, moon is the reason for many addictions, emotion, because we get addicted because we want to calm our feelings, how we feel emotionally. So Saturn square Uranus, if you're born those degrees and of the moon in Taurus, can indicate that you break through a big addiction or through an emotional habit of some sort, or you change your daily habits in some way, or it's demanded from you to do it. Even if you resist, you have to change it, or change your place of living, or there is a big change in your family and your home, or with motherhood. If you're a parent, some big challenge, or change there as well, place of living. If it's your son, it's your career. If it's on those days, degrees, it's your career, or your father, or your husband, or important man in your life, or your own goals and direction in life that you want to totally change, but you have to follow the rules and regulations of Saturn, and you have to introduce something new, and but the old ways are kind of, you have to find a way to reconcile those two. That's why it can feel a little bit more tense. And you can be like, start like, I've been till now a banker, I'm becoming an astrologer. Huh? And everyone's like, what the hell? This is Uranus. If it's your ascendant sign, it's your physical appearance, your whole life, direction in life. It can also affect your relationship, like you break up a relationship or you start a totally new relationship. Because if it's your ascendant sign in Taurus from 6 to 15 degrees in Taurus, then the axis of relationship and marriage is also activated, because you're changing so much if Uranus is transiting your ascendant, that if your relationship doesn't adjust quickly, or your partner, you might be a brand new person by the end of that year, a very different person that you realize like, I want freedom. Uranus is, I want freedom, I want new experiences, I want something that's truthful. Uranus is truthful, authentic, that's aligned to me. And if the people in your life, they might feel irrelevant. You might just release certain relationships, partnerships, business or personal, marriages, boyfriends, girlfriends, and you can start a new one that is very different than anything you've done. Or you can just have to readjust because you change, your partner will have to catch up with you in some way. So fun. Uranus. Things happen so fast. If you're those degrees 5 to 15 degrees Taurus and Lunar rising, oh my God, things spin around. It's like your health can suddenly change. I'm not saying it's bad, it can be like suddenly you just want to work out more. Uranus is more nervous energy. I would advise you, if you're those degrees and you're having Uranus transits, take more magnesium, because Uranus just makes you more like like electrifying the energy. You can feel like tense and hectic, and because the body is raising its vibration when Uranus activates it, because it wants you to experience and to go for new things. And while you're in the same normal vibration, you're never going to push yourself to go for new things, totally new things, to go and rebel against the current status quo in your life. But that's why Uranus brings like high voltage vibrations through you, and you're like, I'm gonna go mad if I stay here, if I keep doing the same thing over and over. But that's kind of, it might be hard to fall asleep, all the excitement, all the changes, all the fast-paced things. So it's good to take magnesium to calm down as well. Something, that really, that's what Uranus transit exhausts the magnesium, the calming which calms the neurons. All right, let's go now generally again for everyone. Rahu in 2021 continues to be in your second house and south node in your eighth house. They entered Rahu and Ketu, the nodes of the moon, the dragon's mouth and the dragon's tail. Wherever Rahu is, we take more, we materialize more, we manifest more, we experience new areas of our lives. And from the middle of 2020 to the end of 2021, Rahu is in your second house, which means you have to learn to be self-sufficient financially. And Ketu is what we have to let go of. It's in your eighth house, help and support and resources from others. So you are releasing, maybe some of you would have to let go of certain help or support from partner. Maybe a partner will have less of an income during that time, for example, and because of that you have to find different new resources, because Rahu is something new, foreign, unusual again, something more progressive, and learning to be self-sufficient, learning to create the resources. And that's something Taurus is naturally good at. You know, Taurus is the most very resourceful sign because it is Taurus. Taurus understands about material stability. And the second house is Gemini, and the Gemini is the cleverest sign. So you're very clever and resourceful how to create financial stability. And you're going to try some new ways. Maybe you started in 2020 already, but 2021 you're going to try some new untried ways for creating financial stability. You might try to experiment with your resources or with your materials if you're an artist, or producing things. You know, I know a Taurus lady that she creates cream lines of healthy creams and stuff. And when your Rahu, the North Node, transited her second house, started in a few months ago, she was like, I decided to experiment with new products, with new from the Amazon jungle, something she found, and she found different products to, and that's second house again. It's not only your money, it's any resources, material things. So Rahu there allows you to experiment, to find newer, more progressive, more unusual ones. So, and to experiment with your food as well. Second house is what you put in your food. Maybe if you've always eaten the same things, now Uranus is like, let me try and cook a tom yum soup. Something unusual, something foreign. Rahu rules foreign things. Or let me try a foreign diet of some sort. You can become quite passionate about food, about what you eat, about your diet, what you put in your mouth, to experiment, to try different things while Rahu is in the second house. Because whatever Rahu is, you become passionate, kind of a bit obsessed about those things. You can even become a bit obsessed about money, making money. And that's the right year for you to do. You see, for Tauruses, all the houses that are most importantly activated are the 10th, which is career house, which is material house, the second house with the North Node, which is money, and the 6th house. And by the way, Mercury goes retrograde for you first in the 10th, then in the 2nd, then in the 6th. So all those material houses, 6th is work, 2nd is money, 10th is career, worldly responsibilities, duties. So 2021 is given to you to sort out your finances, to sort out your material status, your financial status, your status, like the tangible status you have in the world. It's called Artha houses in Vedic astrology, the 6th, the 2nd, and the 10th, which are the ones dealing with the everyday reality, to be fed, to be clothed, to have meaningful work, to have money, to have resources, stability, all of those things. So that's where you're going to shine and do the most in 2021. And Rahu, as I said, it allows you to free yourself maybe from financial dependence on someone, because we release the South Node there in the 8th house. It allows you to let go, and it allows you maybe to gain new kind of exotic possessions as well, unusual possessions. Your style, the second house is your style and taste, and Rahu revolutionizes those. Rahu makes them more quirky, more unusual, makes them more experimental and progressive. You can find yourself being attracted to clothes that are very different, because second house is your taste, to materials that are very different, to foods and tastes, or what you value is the second house. And Rahu there can make you value foreign, unusual, new things. You know, you're rediscovering your five senses. You're recreating them in a new way, which is what Rahu wants. You can become a bit voracious. I have to warn you, that can be a negative side, because Rahu is the dragon's head that doesn't have body, so it's kind of always hungry. It's like, and the second house is the mouth, what we eat. You can feel a bit voracious, that you're like, you want to take a bit greedy about material things, what you want to possess, what the beautiful things you want. A bit materialistic. Rahu is materialistic. The second house is materialistic. Taurus naturally is materialistic. So you'll be like, ooh, I want all those glamorous or those, you know, all those good stuff, the good things in life. But maybe because Western astrology says, wherever Rahu is, you're going to develop them also. Maybe those impulses will increase in you, so you can, you know, develop your new styles, new tastes, new self-worth, new values. And maybe because you have to acquire more self-sufficiency, more material stability, now is the right time as well. Well, the South Node in the 8th house talks about letting go. And the 8th house is other people's resources. Maybe something that has to be sacrificed, for example. Insurance, inheritance, such things might be a bit more difficult when when South Node, Ketu transits the 8th house. But it's also about letting go, and 8th house is trauma. So this is perfect for healing certain trauma, guys, that's been stuck, because Ketu is the tail of the dragon, where you can excrete, and 8th house is where the emotions get stuck. Say in a past lifetime you were buried alive, or you were betrayed, your husband left and never came back, and you starved to death. And in this lifetime you have fear of commitment, and you don't even know why, and there is some trauma. Or maybe your parents beat you up, or someone betrayed you early in life, or whatever, someone cheated on you, some trauma, or someone died and you're afraid of abandonment. These are the traumas that get locked in our emotional body, and sometimes we're not even aware of that, but it's things that we fear, that we're kind of in a semi-unhappy state because of them. Well, Ketu there can allow you to release them, let go of. And it's very spiritual influence, Ketu in the 8th house. Even though, as I said, this materialistic impulse is growing, something almost in an invisible level, it allows you to release past attachments, emotional past attachments especially, because 8th house is the obsession, connection to another, so it can release you by focusing more on the present moment. Rahu in the 2nd house, on the, you know, the taste, the smells, the simple enjoyments of life, simple physical enjoyments. And this kind of creates an alchemical process and allows you to release pent-up sexual trauma, emotional, psychological trauma of Ketu in the 8th house. Ketu is great researcher, that's another thing. So something to do, something privately buried. So for some of you, it can be fantastic time to research the occult, the spirituality, the 8th house, you know, life after death. That's what the South Node in the 8th house is fantastic for. If you're interested, like learning astrology, occult, or tarot, or just some psychological research deep down, this perfectly aligns with the nature of the South Node, because it's kind of spiritual work, so to speak. All right, and you can see those themes very strongly around the eclipses. The first eclipse is happening, lunar eclipse in Sagittarius in your 5th house, so maybe letting go. Sagittarius, 5th house, the lunar eclipse is happening on May 26th. So you might have to let go of some being attached to something emotionally. Might have to let go of some. It might be time when you see the results. If you've been 8th house is other people's resources. So if you've been working on something with another person, maybe the rewards from that collaboration materially can come up around that time. You can see the results of it. Or you might be a time when you have to let go of the support emotionally or psychologically on someone or something, some resource that you had from other outside source around that time, because full moon is about letting go, completing. It might be the completion of some activity connected to taxes, resources, insurances, inheritances. Might be a little bit more crisis prone because it is eclipses after all, but something important can happen with those 8th house activities. Then you have a solar eclipse on June the 9th, June 10th, so around June, maybe a month before, 2-3 months after. Solar new moon eclipse in your 2nd house, new sources of income, new taste, all of those 2nd house things I talked about, new financial possibilities are likely to open for you, a new set of ideas that come to you there. Then there is another eclipse, lunar eclipse. Now this one is very important for you. On November 19th, a few days before, 2-3 months after that, even a month before that, it's in Taurus. This lunar eclipse on November 19th is at the 27th degree of Taurus, which means if you have your sun, moon, or ascendant from around 24 degrees in Taurus to around 30 degrees in Taurus, you are going to feel it very strongly. And that means if you are born basically from around the 15th to around the 22nd of, no, not the 15th, from around the 16th to around the 21st of May. Especially if you're born around 17th, 18th, 19th of May. That's my best friend, Biba. Oh wow, she has an eclipse right on her sun. And that's a Rahu eclipse. It's lunar eclipse with Rahu. So some culmination, seeing the result of something, your life can shift, can change. If it's your moon there can be, for example, a big event happening with your family, with a mother. Because it's Rahu, I think it's more positive that it's going to bring something, but I'm never sure with eclipses. For me, eclipses with Rahu have always brought something good, like eclipse on my moon. There were twice within 2-3 months of that eclipse I got pregnant. Moon is motherhood, family, some big changes in your home, in your family, with the mother if it's your moon in Taurus, with place of living. If it's your sun in Taurus, big change with the father figure. For example, my husband had an eclipse on his sun and his father changed his life, like sold his businesses, met a girlfriend after 20 years single. So it can be important men in your life that are having some big change, but the sun is also your goals, careers, your life force. There can be some big important changes there. And because it's with Rahu, it can be like a culmination, seeing the results, manifesting something. But again, be careful for your health. If you're those degrees, this eclipse, health. It's one of the ancients say, eclipse on your sun, moon, or ascendant. Be careful, those, especially the week around the eclipse. Or if it's your ascendant at those degrees, some culmination, some big change in your life again that is happening. I consider eclipses like more intensified new moons or full moons, and that's more intensified full moon, which allows you to, it's more like fated events happen there. With the ascendant, it's on your path in life, some alignment can happen. That's very important. Sometimes even meeting someone very important when it's on the ascendant, sun or moon, or taking a relationship to a next stage as well. So if you're around those 27 degree in Taurus, you can feel this in November, big breakthrough. And then there is a solar new moon eclipse in your 8th house again in December the 4th. So new beginnings, and in this 8th house again, which is other people's resources, which is this deep psychological transformation, sexual intimacy. There is possibility for a new beginning there for you around December. Not for everyone. It doesn't affect any degrees from Taurus from there, but just has to be mentioned. Okay, another big thing is that Mercury goes retrograde. It does every year, but it goes retrograde 3 times this year, which is quite normal. But every time it goes retrograde, this Mercury, it's in your earth houses, which are material things. So Mercury retrograde wants us to correct, to fix, to improve an area of our life. All retrograde planets want us. Retrograde means it stays there much longer. It moves back and forth, back and forth. Mercury is an organizer, to put order, to make work better, to manage better. So first it starts in February, from January 30th till February the 20th. Mercury is retrograde in your second house. It's time to reorganize your finances, to rebudget, to refinance. Maybe if you see some mistakes, and to correct certain of your investments and finances. Sometimes they can be more expensive. During the retrograde period, don't go doing some totally new, brand new investments or financial adventures of some sort, but you can fix and improve and prepare for a new financial opportunity that you can do after February the 20th. Research, study in regards to there. Sometimes when Mercury is retrograde, something can be returned to you, material that belongs to you in that period from before. Or you can bring back an old financial opportunity to revive it, to prepare it, to make it better. Or you can restart some old something that you used certain way you used to eat before. You can restart doing that. Or you can take any possessions and bring them back to life, repair them, fix them, for example. Or you can do an inventory of your clothes. You can just feel like, I don't want, because your styles are changing. Retrograde planet makes you see things from an alternative way. So your styles, what you value, how you value yourself, what you find worthy is changing in this period, January to February 20th. And you can just basically decide to throw out certain possessions or give them away, or to bring old back clothes and reuse them, or to just like reorganize your environment with your possessions, to throw out, to declutter. Then Mercury goes retrograde in Libra in your sixth house. Sorry, that's everything that I was talking about now for Gemini. That happens from May 29th till June 22nd, when Mercury is retrograde in your second house. My bad. So everything that I talked about, it doesn't happen in January, February. It happens in June. Basically, most of June Mercury is retrograde. So you're doing all this financial restructuring, reorganizing, in June. But first Mercury is retrograde in your 10th house. So that's from January 30th till February 20th. Mercury is retrograde in your 10th house from 11 to 26 degrees. So if you're Taurus, from 11 to 26 degrees Sun, Moon, or Ascendant, Mercury is going to square your Sun, Moon, or Ascendant while it's retrograde. You have to be careful for that. Can be testing. There can be some arguments with people, miscommunications, mistakes that were done in communications, in business, in writing, in spoken words have to come back to be addressed. To some important conversations might happen with authority figures, with bosses. This can be the more demanding Mercury retrograde, basically, in February. So that's when you have to be more careful. The end of January, most of February, not to enter conflict or verbal problems with an authority figure. But if something is upsetting you with an authority figure, you have to bring it there to talk about it, but do it in a diplomatic way. So there can be some important conversations, clarifications with an authority figure, with an institution of some sort, with a father figure. Some problems from the past can be brought, or some issues to get a closure, to be re-examined. The 10th house is also your career, so a career project from the past can be brought up, to be fixed, to be improved, or to be restarted. Or it might mean you're working with extra efforts while Mercury is retrograde in your 10th house, that January, big part of February, on some career project, revising it, putting all your skills. Mercury is your skill sets, your brilliance, your intelligence, putting them to the best of your ability there. And it can again increase workload or slow down a certain process, a certain career project, because you have to redo it a few times, because you have to fix it, or because there are some delays. But by the time Mercury turns direct, February the 20th, you're going to have a way better working career project or career plan, career system, or the career, something Mercurial and connected to your career can be way improved, or even your career reputation may be improved. But while it's retrograde, there are possibilities of certain, career challenges and misalignment of time schedules and having to redo mistakes that are discovered and have to be fixed, and so on. All right, but I think Mercury retrograde in Aquarius is brilliant. So the final result can be quite good, even if it's stressful. So if it's your own business, you might have to renegotiate or have conversations with authority figures, with bureaucratic institutions there, reorganize your strategy, your business strategy, your business plan, but the final result can be fantastic, way more longer lasting, because you put 3 times more efforts on a retrograde planet and you get 3 times more positive lasting results after that. You see it from a different perspective. Some of you might have like an old career project come back to them, or old career opportunity come back to them, or restart something in their career, or have to change something in their career, like say maybe new software or new organization there, new rules there, and you have to adapt. Mercury retrograde asks you to adapt to such new changes in your career. And then comes the money thing we talked about, which are in June, the June Mercury retrograde in your 2nd house. And then comes the Mercury retrograde in your 6th house, which is also connected to work. And it's happening in from basically most of October till the 18th of October, from September 27th till October 18th. You might feel it a couple of weeks before even September 27th. And it's happening in your 6th house. So reorganizing again. 6th house is order, organization, putting cleanliness around you, paying more attention to your health, fixing mistakes you might have been doing with your health. For example, have you been eating correctly? Have you been exercising correctly? You might want to revise your exercise plan, your nutrition plan, or just if you have none, you're gonna start thinking deeper. Maybe I should do something about it. Sometimes it can bring back some old health problems to the surface. Restore them. So it wants to bring you attention in the 6th house. Take better care of your health. These health problems are caused by your lifestyle. 6th house health problems are lifestyle health problem, or mental, how you think, how you feel, how you live physically. There are other health problems that are karmic. They cannot be avoided. They're not 6th house issues. This is the dues you pay the 6th house for how you're thinking, feeling, and living physically. It comes back. So it makes you question when Mercury goes retrograde. So basically big part of October, part of September, your health habits, and allows you to see them, to see your health, your body, from how you take care of your health from an alternative way, from an alternative perspective. Change something there. 6th house is also your office, work environment, so things can be changing there. Again, very similar to the 10th house. It might be like there are new employees there, or that there is some old project you have to revise and redo and fix it a few times, go over and over, preparing something behind the scenes in regards to your work process, so in regards to your career. Or it might mean that you're having some explanatory conversations with workmates, teammates, or if 6th house is the house of conflict in ancient astrology, so old conflicts and things that enemies, we call them enemies, that you might want to address certain issues with those enemies around September, October, to have closure, to see it from a different perspective, to bring things from the past, enemies and competitors type of thing. Or it might mean that you're in your work environment, you're trying to shift something, some changes, maybe to make it more efficient, or maybe to, usually even workload can increase a little bit because you have to do extra things to fix things. And at the end of this process, you can have a way better job, for example, way better product at the job, way better relationships with colleagues after initial crisis and the need to re-examine it of some sort. 6th house is your debts as well, so some of you might decide to re-examine their debt, to refinance a debt, for example, or to do something different about that for Mercury, to put order, to put to manage that better. And sixth house is health, diet. I think we mentioned everything. Okay, let's see what else. All the planets, the Neptune, Uranus, and Saturn. Now I'm gonna start giving you specific degrees. And oh yeah, sorry. Let me start with Venus. No, with Mars. Mars will be in your sign from January the 7th till March the 5th, and that's Taurus. That's the sign Taurus. So January the 7th till March the 5th, you feel much more activated for action, guys. You'd feel more, let's say you might be more explosive as well. That's another way to say. Yes, Mars can bring motivation, but it can make you also more irritable. Mars rules your 7th house, so others might be challenging you in some way, and you can more easily respond to them. It's not constantly all the time. It's maybe for a week at certain period at that time. You have to check your personal transit calendar to see when exactly Mars is transiting your Sun, Moon, or Ascendant while it's in Taurus. Usually it's a very activating time to initiate something, to fix some problem, to go-getting, you know. And then Venus will be in your sign, guys, from April the 15th till May the 10th. That will be quite auspicious time for Tauruses, and especially because Venus also becomes visible from April 21st, because it's invisible from February the 2nd, and Venus is your planet. So when your planet becomes invisible from February the 2nd till April 21st, you can feel a little bit like overshadowed, but don't worry, because it's born again. It's reborn around the April 21st at around 8 till. It's reborn again from 8 till 10 degrees of Taurus. So anyone born on the 26th, 28th, 29th, and 30th of April, it can be extremely auspicious time for them around the end of April. 28th, 29th, 30th of April, or if you have ascendant or moon at 8 degrees Taurus, Venus is born on those degrees. Something Venusian will come to you, like an opportunity, like more abundance of some sort, for more opportunity for luxuries, for pleasures, for something very enjoyable. Venus brings such things. But Venus is in Taurus, in your sign, from April 15th till May 10th. So that will be quite auspicious time for Tauruses. If you're planning dating, if you're planning getting married, I would advise you to do it, especially when Venus becomes visible after April 21st. If you're planning something big to launch, that you want it to be financially successful, again, after April 21st till May the 10th, when Venus is in your sign. If you're planning something pleasant, enjoyable, or businesses of any sort, I think that will be one of the nicer times to do it. All right, and we talked about Uranus when it's affecting you, 6 till 15 degrees, transiting Taurus. That's the most important influence. If you're born from 6 degrees in Taurus till 15 degrees in Taurus, the whole year Uranus and Saturn you feel the most. Especially Uranus is most powerful for you, and Uranus, we said, is big life changes. Suddenly, new, unexpected, you shock people, you want authenticity, you don't care about what society thinks about you anymore, or what is correct, socially correct. You're like, screw it, I want the truth. I want to live free. This doesn't feel free. So it might be a marriage, it might be a career, it might be a life path that you suddenly discontinue and start something totally new. Though Neptune and Pluto are helping some of you, different batch of Tauruses. Those Tauruses born with Sun, Moon, or Ascendant from 18 degrees till 23 degrees in Taurus. Basically, if your Sun is in Taurus, you're born from the 9th to around the 14th of May, you're going to have Neptune sextile, your Sun, Moon, or Ascendant, from 18 to 23 degrees in Taurus. This is fantastic. Sextile is a very gentle aspect, and it's from the 11th house. You can make some friendships that are more spiritual now, with kind of unconditional love friendships that are very helpful, almost like angelic guardianship there, like gentle musical or artistic friends can come into your life. But generally Neptunian influence, but in a good way. So if you're a musician, if you're an artist, if you're someone in spiritual careers, like, you know, uh, what is that called, like spirit guides, mediums, or anything that talks about unconditional love and divine presence, and any spiritual, or, you know, psychics, clairvoyance, if you're on any spirit, or Neptune is using the imagination, you might be a computer game programmer, that you have to use imagination, musician, writer. These are Neptunian areas. Or if your career is connected to Neptune rules pharmacy, healing, doctors as well. Well, this will be very supportive for any of those fields and careers. Even if you're not in those fields, you can find yourself more drawn to music, or you're receiving support because Neptune is making the trine from the 11th house, from someone like a benefactor. Gentle, almost invisible support, like a good kind word for you that helps your career, or that you make some right connections. The 11th house is connections, business or personal, that help you in your career, if it's your sun or ascendant, that help you in your past lifetime. You make like the right connection. You can receive more adoration and idolization from followers or clients. Things can go smoothly, like more unconditional love. You know, your public social image, the 11th house is social image. If you're born from 18 to 23 degrees Taurus, these are not the dates. If you're born from 9 to 14th of May is your dates. You're gonna feel this Neptunian support. You feel more spiritual. You can feel like divine support, some kind aligning with you. You can feel more sensitive as well and compassionate, but in a good way. And in inspiration comes creative inspiration. You can benefit from going to the seaside, Neptune, from going to retreat centers, from spas, to organizing anything to do with retreat, or even going on a long-term, far-away country somewhere. Things will go well because Neptune is far away, distance traveling. It's gentle, it's supportive. You know, you can feel this pleasant energy of Neptune. Before next year, 2022, you're gonna get Uranus. If you're born 18 degrees till 23, then it's like Neptune is preparing you spiritually and giving you this respite and giving you the green light to take it easy and even, you know, go with the flow a little bit before Uranus brings the huge changes in your life, this new rebirth. And then Pluto is making positive aspects as well. So you see, you're very supported. Pluto is trining anyone born from 24 degrees till 27 degrees in Taurus. It's a small batch of people, but that means if you're born with your sun from 24 till 27 degrees, moon or ascendant from 24 till 27 degrees in Taurus, which means your sun, if it's there, you're born from around the 14th till around the 18th of May. Pluto is making a trine to your sun, moon, or ascendant, extremely stabilizing and good aspect. You can be more interested in secrets, in mysteries, in past lifetimes, life between lives, in psychological self-work, and it's gonna go smoothly. You can do some amazing psychological deep work on yourself now if you're born those degrees, which is releasing, which is healing. It's not gonna be challenging. You know, sometimes going to, if it was hard Pluto transit, you go and you cry and you have like, it destroys you psychologically. And then you are reborn. But it happens perfectly. Like, you go to a workshop and it releases your trauma the right way without activating you negatively. You go to a consultation and you find a perfect psychologist, or a perfect past life regressionist, or you know, if it's your sun, for example, from 24 to 27 degrees and Taurus, your career can be extremely strengthened. You find willpower to fulfill some goal or dreams of yours. You can meet some important man with power, or even sexual relationships, because Pluto has sexual undertones. That goes well, very charismatic powerful man, even maybe scorpionic energy there, or sexual experience that is kind of intense and a bit on the darker side, exploratory but binding and not disruptive. Exploring that darker side. If it's your moon, it's also a relationship or a powerful woman you can meet, or it's some powerful positive change in your home. If you become a parent, it's positive transformation. You feel empowered with your parenthood responsibilities, or your mom can be going through a positive transformation as well in an easy way, or your home and place of living can be going through a positive transformation as well. Your relationship with mom can be re-examined and stabilized and transformed as well. If it's your ascendant, those degrees 24 to 27, your overall life, your health is strengthened, your path in life, you get more willpower. Pluto has a lot of willpower, more depth, more ambition and drive to do it, but it flows so easy with you. You can achieve things that you never felt possible to achieve before without the stress, without having to. You can dig deep to very deeply buried resources you are not aware you had, whether it's your sun, moon, or ascendant. When Pluto trines it, you find resources you didn't know you had available. You surprise yourself as to what you can achieve with your willpower, with your focus. You can become like a laser focus onto something. You become more sexual and passionate as well. So you have to see where house your sun or moon are, to see exactly where you can. For example, you might be ascendant in Scorpio and your moon is in Taurus at 25 degrees and Pluto trines it. So then it's gonna have a great influence of deepening your relationships, some great transformation for your partner, some new relationship that is intense and sexually bonding and healing, for example, or very powerful business connection, or clients, strengthening and deepening the connection with clients. Or you might be Libra ascendant and sun in Taurus. Then that sun in Taurus goes into your 8th house, and Pluto trining it in those degrees means that your partner's resources might be stabilized, your sexual intimacy, the 8th house, healing, emotional transformation, and so on. So you can check all those on your personal transit calendar, where I speak about specific influences like that. So there you go. Many of you are helped by Neptune and Pluto. Others are asked by Uranus to go totally new direction in life while keeping the rules of Saturn, because everyone that's influenced by Saturn, by Uranus, 2021 is also influenced by Saturn. There'll be a lot of resistance from authority figures, from elder people, or in your life for the changes you're doing, and you have to combine both to please both your need for change and the need to keep the social status, or to grow it, and to so that's what can be challenging. But a lot of you might be totally different by the end of this year. And remember, for everyone, Saturn in the 10th house with Jupiter is the most important influence. This is the year you can sort out your finances, you can sort out your career, find out mission, your work. You're working on the physical stuff, on the physical areas, your relationship with food, your relationship with your body, with health, with nutrition, your relationship to money, your relationship to social status, to business, to work, to employees. These are the themes. And you're going to ask, what about love? Doesn't Taurus have love? Well, you might have Venus in Aries. I don't know. Or Venus in... Venus is the planet of love, but we're talking here about Sun, Moon, or Ascendant only. And Venus will transit your sign from April 15th to May 10th. That can be more love, connected to love relationship theme, more possible. And also when Venus is in Scorpio, which happens when? From September the 10th to October the 7th. That's when your love life can have, based on your sun sign or moon or ascendant, can have increased possibility for meeting someone, improving a relationship, having it pleasant and easy. So there you go. Thank you so much, Taurus. Exciting year ahead. And I will see you next year. And write down, come back in 5-6 months from here. Say, are you feeling Neptune? Maybe you're from those degrees that feels Neptune. Are you feeling Pluto? Are you feeling Uranus? Maybe you're from those degrees that feel Uranus. How is that 10th house, Saturn and Jupiter, affecting you? Do share below, so enter a conversation, and so we can see, how this forecast is coming on. Thank you.